Hello everyone and welcome back to More Wildflower. Okay, in how many formats can I film this type of video? I don't know, but here we are. Let's talk about all of the books that I read in October. Now this is an interesting one to film because it's not the end of October yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna read anything else. So let's just chat about it, shall we? I'm gonna be looking to the side because I have the Minder Excel right there. And I honestly don't remember everything that I've read, so I'm just gonna be looking and telling you what I read. Okay, let's start. Let me move to the side so I can put the pictures right here. Okay, starting off with Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol. I don't know if I said that right. This is about this teenager that accidentally falls into a well and there's a ghost just chilling down in the bottom of the well. It's kind of giving The Ring, but like make it YA and less like soul wrecking, less life changing, and less I'm gonna piss my pants type of content. No, because that's what The Ring was for me. Okay, that movie wrecked me for sure. My little 8-year-old self could not handle that movie. So this is basically what it is. She then gets like a bone, or does she? Does she? I don't know. She gets a bone of this ghost girl and she walks around with the bone and the ghost, because the ghost needs to be like close to the body. It's a whole ordeal and they kind of goes from there. It gets a bit spooky. I didn't expect it to get spooky like it did. It isn't spooky enough to make you stay awake at night, but it's still a bit spooky. And I gave this, let me see, 4 stars. Yeah, it was pretty good. The next story I read was Persepolis, The Story of a Childhood by Margine Satrapi. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And this is a completely shift from the last book that I read, because this is kind of like a non-fiction. Actually, not kinda. I think it is truly non-fiction about this girl's life in, sorry if I get this wrong, I believe in Pakistan, and is like during all of these revolutions that are happening and like all of these wars that are happening in the country, and basically what it means for a child to grow up in that environment and what it was like for her, pretty much. And it was very good. It was very eye-opening for sure. It was very nice to see that in the midst of all of this chaos that's going on, all of these bad things, they could still find some beautiful things about life, like, you know, just enjoying music and all of these type of things. So I definitely highly recommend. I think it's a very important story to read, and I gave this 4 stars as well. Sorry, I was looking to the side, I was like, 4 stars? 5 stars? How much did I give this? 4 stars as well. Then the next one that I read, actually I'm gonna group these because I read a lot of them. So let's group. I started reading Spy Family and I read from volume 1 to volume 4 of Spy Family. And this is basically it's so good. It's so good. If you haven't read it yet, this is your sign. This is your PSA. Go read it, okay? This is your moment. If you were looking for a sign, this is the one. This story is basically about this guy who is a spy. Crazy, I know, crazy concept. And for a job that he's doing that involves like avoiding a war from happening, pretty much, he needs to get a family. He needs to get into this like children's school. And obviously, in order to have that, he needs to have a child. And then for the child to get into the school, he needs to have a wife. So there's like this whole ordeal. And it's so funny, it's so cute, and it's just, I love it so much. So let me say in order of the books that I read. So volume 1 was 5 stars. Volume 2 was 4.5. Then volume 3 was 4.5 as well. And volume 4 was 4 stars. It is so good. I'm currently in the midst of reading the 5th volume. I don't think I'm gonna finish it by the end of the month. It is the 29th as I'm recording this, so I don't think it's happening. But if it is happening, I'll probably rate that 5 stars, just so you know, because I was really enjoying that volume. Okay, moving on. Completely different literary genre? I don't even know. I read Homebody by Rupi Kaur. Rupi Kaur? Listen, I've read so many of her books and I still don't know how to pronounce her name, which is really bad. I should know it by now, but I really don't. I thought this was okay. This was an okay read. I give it 3 stars. It had some good bits, some very nice quotes, but at the same time it had a lot of repetitive parts, and that's why I didn't like give it a higher rating. But it was okay. Moving on, what else did I read? I read so much this month, and at the same time, so little. Because I read everything like the first week, because I was inspired by a lot, and then all of those hopes and dreams just went away. So the next book I read was Winter by Ellie Smith. I listened to this on audiobook like I did with Autumn. Something about Ellie Smith, I am just always so confused. You could ask me what the story is about, I would not be able to tell you. I have no idea. I don't even remember what it was anymore. There was like World War II involved, but also not. And there was like these 2 characters whose story connected somehow, and then I don't know. I honestly, genuinely, I have no idea what was going on in this book. But even still, I give it 3 stars. Because sometimes it's just good to listen to a book and just be confused, you know? Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't, but for this case, it worked. So there you go, that's all I have to say about that. Then I'm gonna group these 2 together as well because these are by the same author and they're short stories. So you might remember me reading the first short story of this back in like May or June. I think it was June actually. And it is the short story is written by Bruno Leão. He's a Portuguese author that just released his YA queer romance book. It's his first book, his debut. And as a marketing strategy, he released these little short stories in the leading up to the release of the book. And I hadn't read the other 2 short stories, so I read them this month. So I was like, why not? Got nothing to lose. So I read Silêncio entre Tempestades and Take Zero, Recomeçar. I don't really know how to speak about these. It basically explores 2 to 3 characters of his actual novel. It just goes more into like their backstories and explores a bit more of the secondary characters. And obviously because I haven't read the actual book, I don't really know how to rate these. But overall, I think his writing is pretty decent for someone who's just started out. He has a pretty like colorful and expressive writing. He uses a lot of metaphors and all these like, I guess you could call it purple prose type of writing, which I think really works for his work. As for ratings, I gave Silêncio entre Tempestades 3.5 stars and Take Zero, Recomeçar 4 stars. Is that it? We only have 1 left and it's right here next to me. I can actually show the physical book. Alright, the last book I read this month, probably, is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I read this initially for a Minder challenge. Did not make that in time. It's okay. It's totally fine. And I really enjoy this. I really like Rainbow Rowell. The more I read of her works, the more I'm convinced that she's like one of my top authors. I mean, my favorite book is by her. It's Carry On, as you probably all know. I talk incessantly about that book. And this one was so hyped. I feel like from all of her books, this is the one that is the most hyped. And it took me a while to get to it, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's basically like this realistic fiction story about 2 teenagers who fall in love. Imagine teenagers that fall in love in high school and then shit happens. And imagine how that would end in real life, and that's basically this. And it really deals with like toxic relationships coming from like the parent side, and bullying and being Asian in America and all of these type of topics, while intertwining music and adolescent like pureness and lightness and just wonder to it. And it's truly so nice. I give this 4.5 stars. Honestly, could give it 5 stars if I wanted to. It was really good, highly recommend. And those were all of the books that I read this month. How many are those? 11 books. And that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments how many books you read this month and which one was your favorite. And maybe which one was your least favorite as well. That's always fun. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!